Very excited to introduce my next caller to you today. We're going to be speaking to Sam. She's originally from the Northwest, but she lives in Edinburgh now, and she works in the police. And when she's not out to her parents, and when she went to work with women who were going through sort of domestic relationships, she felt like she couldn't be herself because she hadn't came out yet. And she's on the line now because we're chatting as part of World Suicide Prevention Day today, and we're having really important chats, and some of them might be triggering for you. It's not an easy conversation to have, but as we always say, talking's really important. However, if you feel like it's too sensitive for you and it might trigger you in any way, then come back and join us in about 5 minutes, where we've got music from Katy Perry to play for you. And as always, with any of these conversations, if you need some help and you want to reach out, then you can. It's gaydio.co.uk/life. But good morning, Sam. It's great to have you on the show this morning. I believe that you know my last guest, Matt Mahmood, quite well. Isn't it a small world?
Good morning, Dean. I do. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a wee star.
He's lovely, isn't he? Well, thank you for joining me on the show today. So you want to give listeners who may be going through a dark time or may have gone through a dark time, you want to give them hope today. Why is that?
I think it's important to just relay part of my story. So I'll start with just talking about in my younger years how I felt a lot of feelings of isolation and a lot of loneliness that became quite overbearing for me. I didn't feel I had somebody that I could trust and that would give a non-judgmental approach to any disclosures that I wanted to make. I did feel a part of the LGBT plus community, but not an active member. So I felt isolated from my own Asian community, and also because I was unable to be an active member of the LGBT plus community. So that left me in a place of, well, who am I? Questioning my identity. And I felt as though I almost had to lead a double life as I grew older. I appreciate that it's a heavy subject for people to digest, and we don't want folk choking on the cornflakes over this, but it's really important to get the message across that you really do need to speak to people if you're having feelings of self-harm or suicide.
Sam, why did you feel like you weren't part of the LGBT community, an active member?
I was unable to express that side of me because it was so suppressed. My faith background was Muslim, and it's prohibited within the religion, as it is in most religions, unfortunately, to be in a relationship, or certainly to be accepted within a relationship as part of the faith community. And I just thought, I can't let my family down. I can't dishonour my family. I had lots of feelings of guilt and shame. And I just thought, I just need to be, quote unquote, normal and try and forget this side of me, to ignore it almost.
And I hope you don't mind me asking, but what pulled you out of that dark time? Because, of your attempts, what brought you back?
I used to train in martial arts and still do train in some sort of fighting capacity, but I used the focus and determination and the resilience from what I learned in my training and tried to incorporate that within my day-to-day life.
Wow. Isn't it funny if you just have that one thing that you love and just hang on to that, because you don't know how valuable that's going to be whenever things get dark, isn't that right? It's also important to do what you love, but it's really important to talk. Any recommendations then, if anybody's listening, of who they can speak to? What's the first step that you can make?
I think it's important to identify if you're okay with speaking to someone face to face. If you're not, then please speak to somebody over the telephone. They can give you a call back, so it's more cost effective for yourself. And I'm sure there'll be ways in which you can speak to someone anonymously as well.
Yeah.
I would recommend speaking to somebody at the Naz and Matt Foundation, because that is their sole purpose, to make sure that people feel like they have somebody to speak to avoid anybody having those really dark and torturous feelings of self-harm and or suicide.
Thank you for that, Sam. Yeah, it's nazamatfoundation.org. That's NAZ and Matt, MATT, foundation.org. Before you go then, Sam, do you feel now like you're part of the LGBT community as an active member? You've moved to Edinburgh from the Northwest. How are things for you now?
Oh, they're spot on. Can't complain. I love the weather up here.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's good to hear, Sam, and thank you for joining me this morning. It's been great to chat to you. And of course, like all of these things, if you need some help today and every day, there are helplines out there. The LGBT Foundation do great work. Mind Out, based in Brighton, the NASA Matt Foundation, Hadaya, Mermaids. If you're trans or if you're a trans parent, or there are people out there that are so ready to hear you today and every day.